Hey, thank you for tuning in to another episode of.
Sticky Notes Podcast.
Okay, before we get started, please, guys, give us a comment, give us a like, give us something. We're trying to get our comments and likes up. If there's anything that we can do, or any topics that you guys want us to talk about to maybe help, get our likes and comments up, or so you guys can engage more with us, let us know. I see tons of people, that I know personally that follow us, and they're always, they'll come up and say stuff to me about our episodes and stuff, I talk to them about it, but put it on the comments so other people can know how you feel about the situation, about what we're talking about that day or whatever. Trying to get in the algorithm and get our subscribers up and everything. We don't sit here and ask everybody, subscribe, like, and if you like, this, blah blah. No, just do us a favor, give us a comment. If you want to hear us talk about something, if you like what we're talking about, let us know. But today, we have to fill everybody in on what's going on with Diddy. That's the only thing that's really popping right now. So we've been leading up to this moment. They're in court, and we have a lot of the details. Hey, you guys get comfortable, because this is going to be like this episode is not going to be a sticky note. We're going to actually break this down and, try and fill everybody in. I'm sorry.
We're going to break it down into sticky notes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Bob. Mr. Bob, every time he sees me, he's like, who's this person? Who's that? Who's Lil Durk? Who's who's Luke Cannon? It's Loose Cannon, Mr. Bob. And I appreciate you and your wife listening all the time, and you let me know how you feel about it. So shout out to Mr. Bob. Sorry, the Phillies just lost their reliever. I know you're always asking about what's going on, talk about the Phillies. All right, so real quick side note, the Phillies lost the reliever he tested positive for PEDs, so now he's out for 80 games and he's ineligible for the playoffs. So that sucks, because he's probably one of maybe our second best reliever. I don't know, but he's throwing over 100 miles an hour. We lost him, so that sucks. There you go, Bob. There's your five little, not even 5 minutes, that 30 seconds of Phillies. Now we back to Diddy.
All right. The Diddy trial started this week, and one of the most important witnesses, Cassie, she took the stand. She was on the stand for 4 days. She was first questioned by the prosecutors about her relationship with Diddy. She testified to the beginnings of how they met, the abuse, the freak offs, the coercion. She testified to the sexual assault that Diddy had done to her after she had left him in 2018.
And then she returned, right? She left him in 2018. Didn't she go back to him after that assault?
Well, we'll get there. So let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
So Diddy was, I think, like 38, and Cassie was 19 when they first met.
Mm-hmm.
Cassie signed to Bad Boy Records under the impression that she was going to come out with 10 albums. It was a 10-album record deal.
An unheard of deal. A 10-album deal.
She was only 19 at the time. A 19-year-old, that sounds like heaven.
Okay.
So she didn't know. She was so young. She was a teenager. Diddy was already a prominent member in the industry. She had no reason to believe he was not being truthful. Anyway, shortly after she got signed, they began a romantic relationship. She said during the course of her relationship with Diddy, she had recorded 9 albums. Not one of those albums ever saw the light of day. I think he was dangling music in front of Cassie like a carrot to control her and keep her.
Well, her job became the freak-offs.
Yeah, so she said the freak-offs began about a year, 6 months or a year. Was it a year and a half?
Do we have to explain what a freak-off is?
Basically, he had asked her what she thought about participating in a freak-off and her having sex with other men while Diddy watched. Mm-hmm. And she said she did it. She didn't want to, but she wanted to make him happy.
If not, she thought he would just do it with another person, right?
Yes. But again, that goes back to abuse. And
how's that abuse?
Because he made her feel like if she didn't do it, then he was just going to leave her and go do it with somebody else.
How can you make somebody else feel a certain way?
When you love someone and you're afraid to lose them, they can make you feel like you have to do things to please them.
He didn't physically take love out of his body and put it inside of hers, right?
What?
That's what I'm saying.
I've been in that position too, where you are made to feel like you have to do certain things.
I'm not trying to make a joke out of this. I'm
to please the person that you're with.
Messing around.
Anyway, some of these freak offs marathon sessions lasted days at a time. They would happen weekly, she said, involving different male escorts that they found on Craigslist. They had happened in different states like New York, Miami, LA, which I guess is the sex trafficking aspect of this.
So I mean, if they're getting these workers from the state that they're in, is that sex trafficking, or are they saying that he sex trafficked her?
I think they're saying that she was sex trafficked. Which, hey, if that's her job and he's taking her to these different places.
I know, but they're a couple, so that's the thing.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have to see. I know there's more people testifying because this is just the first week of a 6-8 week trial.
They're going city to city, and they both seem like they were enjoying the freak offs.
Well, she said that she would often take drugs like cocaine, ecstasy, the GHB oil. She said she needed those drugs to disassociate, so she wasn't present in the moment.
And the ketamine was
ketamine. And if she didn't participate in these freak offs, you know, his anger, his abuse,
Puff
threatened her
wasn't
career.
Scared of nobody. He was pushing people around. Sounds like.
Also, there was a lot of blackmail because there were various videotapes that he had recorded of her participating in these freak offs that he would use against her. So she felt like she had to stay, or else these tapes were going to be released.
Well, there was parts where he was, he didn't want the tapes to be released either.
He threatened her and said that he would release them if she didn't.
Hold on, what about the gentleman that had said that they had footage? And
how did they get that footage? Who do you think gave it to them? If it's only Diddy and her in the room and an escort.
No, it was the sex worker that had the video recording, and then she was like.
But how do you think they got that recording though?
I don't know, but she threatened that guy's life.
She said
that
they were trying to blackmail her.
She said that she would kill him and cut him up into pieces.
They were trying to blackmail her.
So, I mean, that doesn't give you an excuse to say that.
Anyway, Cassie also testified that after Cassie also testified that after the freak offs, Diddy would want her to take the how do I say this?
Male fluids.
The male fluids that were on her, that were in her, and rub them on his chest and nipples, and then he would also engage with sex with Cassie after she had sex with the escort.
No. Oh no! No.
Yes.
I'm sorry if you guys. Sorry, we had to repeat that, but yeah.
You know my personal opinion.
They would go into another room and she would apply that to him. Now, there are many theories why he would do this.
Yeah, I have mine. You want to give yours first?
Well, I kind of agree with the gentleman. The truth is, if you guys haven't checked out The Truth Is, you guys need to check out The Truth Is on YouTube, because that is a really good channel. And they explained why Diddy might do such things. Now, all right, now it's gonna get kind of deep. This is why I told you guys to chill out and relax, because this is kind of crazy. I kind of feel weird talking about this stuff just because I believe in Jesus Christ and stuff, but apparently Puff Daddy's a Satanist, or in the Illuminati,
in the occult, basically.
Yeah, that whole spiel. So he would rub they believe that the male fluid is like it's like godly, and it can make you more of a god if you like put it on you or whatever. So I believe that's what he was doing, rubbing it on. Because there's no other reason that why you would do such a thing.
There's that, and then also I believe that he is probably gay or bi, and he would get his sexual gratification by watching that and by having that being rubbed on him.
But dude, I don't have too many like gay friends to ask them, like, is that something that they
No,
do?
it's not a normal thing. But for someone like him who probably couldn't be open about his sexuality
if
because
anybody
of
is
the industry that he's in and maybe the backlash that he felt he would have received.
Yeah, if anybody is, on that kind of person, let us know in the comments. I don't judge nobody.
That's not a normal thing for anybody. Doesn't matter your sexuality. But he was a very
the first time I heard
demented,
of somebody
twisted,
doing that.
Sick individual. But anyway, they also had Dawn Richard from Danity Kane testify on Friday. I think she might continue her testimony on Monday. Aubrey O'Day, who's been very vocal about Diddy and his abuse, is supposed to testify.
She is?
Yes, allegedly. And they had a special FBI agent testify who said she was present when they had arrested Diddy in New York at his hotel. She said after he was arrested and they went in his hotel room, in the closet in a bag, they found bottles of Astroglide and the Johnson & Johnson baby oil. So he's been keeping up doing this up until the point where he got arrested.
There's nothing wrong with having Astroglide and baby oil.
What's interesting though is, remember before he was getting arrested in New York, he was hanging out with Stevie J.
How many of you guys out there have Astroglide and baby oil?
So you do, I guess, since it's a normal thing?
I don't know, do I?
You tell me. I don't know.
You don't know?
You tell me.
That's a shame you don't know.
Also, the security guard from the hotel where...
Next time you hit me up and ask me if I need anything from Wegmans, I'm going to say, pick me up some baby oil.
Anyway, the security guard from the hotel where Diddy had assaulted Cassie also testified to what he saw, saying he saw Cassie try to leave and she had a purple eye. And they also released the full 15-minute video footage of that incident. Anyway, so yeah, that was the first week of the trial. And also, his family was there, but when they were talking about their sexual escapades and freak-offs, his daughters actually left the courtroom and did not come back.
Was her husband in there?
He was there every single day.
Didn't he? I thought they asked him not to be in the courtroom one day.
When they talked about the sexual assault, because he might be called as a witness, he was not allowed to be in there for that part, but everything else he was there. And they said he was allegedly staring Diddy down the whole time because Diddy was basically intimidating the witness. He was staring at Cassie consistently to the point when she would walk in and walk out, his eyes would just be on her.
He's watching
the whole time.
He was watching her the whole time?
Yeah. She didn't look at him not one time.
Didn't she answer a phone call
during the trial?
Didn't she answer a phone call during a encounter with Diddy?
I'm not sure. I don't know if I heard that.
In bed?
I don't know.
She answered the FaceTime phone call when she was in bed with Diddy of her husband.
I'm sure he knows. I'm sure he knows everything. Like, I don't think he heard anything.
At the time, he didn't know that she was over there.
I'm sure she told him later at some point.
I think she just found out. I think he just found out about it.
I don't think so. I think he knows everything.
I don't know.
Well, that's the first week of trial. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
We'll have to see what happens.
As far as like his convictions, if he's going to be found guilty or... I know they were showing like very graphic photos and videos to the jury. They have it blocked so like only the jury can see that stuff. Like the people that are sitting there in the trial, in the courtroom, they can't see it, but the jury can. And they were showing very, very intense footage.
I'm trying to think of like how long this trial is gonna be. They
said about 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks.
It could be 2 months or less.
Cassie was your star witness, right?
Well, there's supposed to be 3. They can't find the third one.
Yeah,
so there's going to be a second one.
What happened to the third witness?
I don't know.
And who was it?
I don't know. But they got more people testifying. He's got more charges than
who
just
was
sex
the third
trafficking.
witness? Can we look that up?
No, it's a Jane Doe. Nobody knows.
But there was no kind of details.
The second and third witnesses are Jane Doe's.
But there's no details to go along with what what are they testifying to? Like, what did they say? They're Jane Doe's, but what did the Jane Doe say that he did?
So an anonymous woman known as Jane, who started dating Diddy in 2020, is going to tell the jury how she was expected to have sex with escorts without a condom against her wishes. She's going to describe the night when Diddy had viciously attacked her, allegedly punched her in the face, slapped her so hard that she fell over. And then another victim, whose name is Mia, who worked for Combs as his personal assistant for several years, will testify about being forced to perform oral sex on him and being sexually assaulted by him.
Now, is Mia her real name? Or
it's in quotation marks, so I'm not sure.
Okay, so which one is missing? Her?
I don't know.
That's kind of crazy that somebody went missing, though.
Other witnesses, like other male sex workers and other former employees of his companies, are going to testify as well.
Who was it that said, was it Dawn that said, what you saw the other day was, just kind of like, a couple going through something, and then, people that say stuff, they end up missing. That's what she said.
Yeah, so
that's what Diddy said to her.
Yeah. No, Cassie had told her that if you say something, like, your people end up going missing.
Oh, she said Dawn said Diddy said that to her in the studio session. To her and somebody else.
Yeah, Diddy allegedly assaulted one of Cassie's best friends and hung somebody over a balcony. Like, this guy's a very dangerous man.
Who was that?
I think one of Cassie's friends. I think their name was Kate. I'm not sure.
She got hung over the balcony?
Yeah, by Diddy.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was underneath? Was it like, what was it a balcony over top of? Was it like over top of a street or like what?
I don't know.
It sounds like I'm thinking a beach.
No, I think it was in New York.
Oh, so it was a city balcony.
Yeah.
Oh man, that sounds like some Mission Impossible type stuff.
Yeah, so they still got a lot more people to testify.
So what do you think is gonna happen to Diddy?
I definitely think he's gonna be found guilty. I definitely
guilty of why do you think he's gonna be found guilty? Why are you so certain? Like,
sex trafficking. He's done it to more than one woman. Sex trafficking, racketeering, RICO. He's gonna be found guilty. And his plea deal was 10 years, which he denied. And usually a plea deal is less time than what you would serve if you're found guilty. So if he is found guilty, he's going to be serving over 10 years for sure.
Well, yeah, if he gets found guilty, they're gonna try and nail him to the cross. But for some reason, I don't think that he's gonna get found guilty. I just feel like it's they were a couple. And it seems like, the defenses, they were a couple, they were in the freaky stuff.
But Cassie's not the only person he's done this to, though. There's a pattern, that they're going to recognize a pattern.
Yeah, that's what he was into, and the women that he was with.
He made his personal assistant do it. That's not somebody you're dating. It doesn't matter if you're dating somebody. If you're dating somebody, that doesn't give you the legal right to force them to do things, to have sex with. When you are forcing somebody to have sex with somebody else that you're paying, that's sex trafficking.
How was he forcing her, though? She set up the rooms.
No, the other witness, the other person that dated him in 2020 is going to testify to the same thing. He made her have sex with escorts without a condom. You threaten abuse. Like, you're a man, so I don't expect you to understand it from a female's perspective.
It's not that. I'm just trying to make sure that an innocent man doesn't go to jail. I want to make sure that he is actually guilty of
Well, keep in mind,
he
we're not
deserves jail
We're
time.
not seeing the evidence that the jury is seeing, the photos and the videos. We only saw the video from the hotel.
People think jail is just like, jail is nothing. Jail is a very impactful thing for a person.
And someone like Diddy, who abuses his power and abuses women, needs to be in jail. Sorry, I know you're like anti-jail and you don't want anybody in jail. Some people deserve to be in jail because some people are monsters.
Some people can be rehabilitated?
If they recognize they have a problem, yes. Diddy does not recognize he has a problem. He does not think that what he's doing is wrong. He has not apologized. He keeps denying, saying they're lying. He hasn't done anything.
He did say that he was in a dark place.
Because he got caught on video before. He said it was all lies. And then when the video was released, he had no choice but to say that.
Yeah, but right after the incident, he went into a rehab.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. After that 2016 incident, he went into a rehab.
That's what he wants you to think.
It was documented. They both checked into a rehab.
It didn't work.
I'm just saying. She kept on going back. She was into the bad boy.
Anyway, we're gonna keep you guys updated on the Diddy trial. We're gonna do it week by week. So this was week 1. Next week we'll give you week 2. And
yeah, let us know what you guys think. What's gonna happen to Diddy, yo? What's gonna happen to him, man? I don't even want to play any songs, that remind me of that, yo. And I used to love them songs, man. And I can't even play them. Gotta wait till this is over. So let us know what you think. Thank you guys. Please like, share, subscribe, tell your friend, and thank you for tuning in to this episode of
Sticky Notes Podcast.
Put in all our work, we call